The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show, a hoop ball presentation. My name is Adrian Benjamins, and I'm joined by Neil Rochlani. And this episode is brought to you by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. Taste the Kona difference, get some delicious coffee, and head over to HawaiianIsles.com and Amazon. Neil, how are you doing? Another week lined up. How's it going, man?
It is. It's going okay. I'm like in a dead dogfight with Eric Ong in the league we're both in. I'm currently up 6-2, but I could lose 2-7. It's crazy. Like every category is like a couple points, like 2 rebounds off or 2 assists off, and he's got one more game to play, and I'm like, oh god, I'm sweating that out. Other than that, I'm doing fine. How are you this Sunday evening?
Well, it's funny because I myself am also in a dogfight with the great Eric Ong, and this one's in the Hoop Ball Staff League. And Neil, beginning the week, I was killing this guy, and then midweek we got into an even keel. We came into the final day like tied. Now he's edging me out 4-5 right now, and I'm currently in fourth place. He's currently in seventh place in this league. So this will be a good win for him, and he needs to stay alive. I think I forget how many people make the playoffs in the Hoop Ball Staff League, but I think it's pretty deep as far as playoffs. So I think we're both going in the playoffs, and I'm looking at our matchup right now. I still got a couple guys going. I got Tyler Johnson, Dario Saric, Kevin Knox. He's done for the day. So it's possible I could still kind of edge him out here. We'll see how it goes, man.
Well, good luck. I'm rooting for you. I think I'm going to fall short, but I think I should still finish first in this league, and then our playoffs start next week. So
Nice.
I'm not very good with planning playoff schedules. I usually just roll with what I've got and try to do a couple moves during the week. I'm not someone who can do or who has figured out how to do like a dozen moves on a couple roster spots, so it's tough for me. I just don't have the time or haven't figured that out yet. Anyway, let's talk about basketball games. Any news or notes you want to bring up before we get into this box scores?
I got a little bit of news. Wanted to ask you your thoughts on Lakers' full activation of tank mode. We heard that Brandon Ingram was getting the shutdown, and then yesterday we heard that Lonzo Ball is now getting the shutdown. What are your thoughts? Do you think there's anyone worth taking a flyer on with all these starter guys going down? What do you think, Neil?
It's very interesting. First of all, I thought McGee might get more minutes with all of the shutdown. That did not pan out. He still ended up last night with just 16 minutes in a very kind of boring line. I don't know. My first thought was going to be Bullock or Caldwell Pope, but they both struggled yesterday. So Hart has shown that even when he starts, he's not really fantasy relevant. I guess is it Wagner? I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but that's the only guy that produced yesterday, and he's the only guy I would speculate on. And I don't even think it's guaranteed. I don't know.
Yeah, Mo Wagner got picked up in a bunch of my deep leagues, Neil. I think if he's going to start, and just because I'm not saying Mo Wagner is a great player, but we know that sometimes bad players, they just get the opportunity, and if they get minutes, they can produce. That could possibly be Mo Wagner. Now, I wouldn't drop anything great for him, but if you're in a deep league or you got something of low value at the end of your bench, maybe it makes sense. You mentioned Josh Hart. I may actually just pick up Josh Hart, and now I'm not even going to play him. It's just in the hopes that maybe these last final weeks of the season he gets going, because as you said, he really hasn't shown much even when given the opportunity. So and then Reggie Bullock I think was a great mention as well, because we know that he's definitely capable of producing when given the opportunity. So maybe this is his opportunity. It's an interesting situation, huh?
It's very interesting. There's going to be a lot of minutes. I think they're going to get spread out a lot from the remaining guys. There'll be guys who we haven't even really talked about all season who will get like 20 minutes a night now. So it's going to be kind of strange. But your Lakers are going to lose every game, I think, going forward.
Ooh, man, it's what a disappointing year it's been for the Lakers, and yeah, I don't know, man. I got some hard feelings about it, man. It's been a real roller coaster ride. So, Neil, one last bit of news and notes, and we may just want to wait for this game because we are going to talk about the Timberwolves, but I am very interested to get your thoughts on Karl Anthony Towns. And we saw him get a scare the other night with knee injury. A lot of people were really panicking at first because it looked like it could be bad. Now we're hearing it's not bad. So, but I want to get your thoughts on that. I don't know if we are going to talk about the Timberwolves later in the box score breakdown. So maybe we'll just wait for that.
Real quickly, I'll just say that I have him in 2 of my 3 leagues, so I was one of those panicking persons and lost out on him tonight in the aforementioned league I'm in. But I'm hopeful. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, so he could get shut down at some point. He's never been shut down before, and they haven't made the playoffs yet. I mean, last year they squeaked in, but I don't. I'm worried that he might actually see some missed time down the stretch. I mean, he's had 2 issues now. He had that concussion with the car accident, now the knee. I don't know what's going to happen. It's not Hibbs anymore who's telling them to play 40 minutes a game, so it's a different situation. I think it's going to just take it game by game. I'm cautiously optimistic he'll play through March, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right, shall we jump? Anything else you think that's worth noting, or should we start jumping into these games? We got a decent slate of games here.
Oh, we got 9
Sunday
games.
night.
We got a busy Sunday.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's hop right in.
Is it my turn? Is it your turn?
Have no idea.
I don't know either. I'll tell you what. I think you may have actually led last. I'm just totally guessing though. Well, I'll take the lead on this one, man. And let's start with the Bulls and the Pistons. This one was a blowout. The Pistons get the victory here, 131-108. I'm going to look at on the Chicago side. Start with Otto Porter, who's been really rock solid ever since joining the Bulls. 17 points. 6 rebounds and assists, a block. 3 threes on 6 of 12 shooting from the field. He was a perfect 2 of 2 from the line. Lauri Markkanen, 17 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. 3 threes on 6 of 13 shooting from the field. 2 of 2 from the line. Kind of excited for Lauri next season, Neil. I think I'm going to be targeting him pretty heavy in a lot of leagues. Robin Lopez, an off game here tonight, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block in 24 minutes. I think he'll be just fine going forward, though. I think this is kind of a fluke, this bad game. Chris Dunn I feel like he's been disappointing and underwhelming this season. Only 7 points for him, 2 steals, 4 assists, 1 3 on 3 of 7 shooting. Off the bench, they got some nice production from Selden, who had 18. Harrison had 11. They got decent minutes too, but this was a blowout. So I don't really trust any of these bench guys here. Neil, what are your thoughts on your Chicago Bulls, man?
Yeah, it was a beatdown. It was an early start too, 11 a.m. here Central Time. Levine did not play. He has some knee soreness, so he rested tonight. Archie Diacono, I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, started, and even so did not really do much, even though he was efficient at 5 of 7. So I don't think he is going to be, even if he were to start, I wouldn't really trust him. If they somehow shut down any of these backcourt players, I think he's still another solid year away from being a decent NBA player. So I'm not looking at him. The biggest disappointment is Dunn. I mean, I start him, and I'm kind of just holding on to him because of his name more than anything, and the stats are not bearing it out. So maybe I'll move on, pick up someone else to talk about later. Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot to mention, Zach LaVine missed this one due to a right knee patellar tendon strain. So I'm trying to look to see if there's any update on a timetable, but it doesn't look like it's anything serious, so I'm hoping we see him back soon. I haven't read anything about him missing any extended time, so fingers crossed that we see him. And he was a game time decision going into this game, so that's always a good sign that he's hopefully not going to miss any long period of time. But I should have noted that he's such a big part of their team, so it definitely changes the usage and rotation when he misses a game.
Right. And so as I was saying, I don't think it'll be a big thing either. So he'll probably be back next game. On the Detroit side, let's see. Glenn Robinson starts. That was really interesting. Only played 13 minutes though. So had 3 fouls in just the 13 minutes. Did not play much. Griffin saw a game here, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, 3 3-pointers. Drummond, double-double, 16 points, 15 rebounds. Reggie Jackson, 21 points, 6 assists. Nice night from him. Ellington played, this is really surprising too, just 15 minutes off the bench. He had 4 fouls, so he had an off day. Kennard, we thought might be a speculative ad, not really working out right now. Not bad, though. 9 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, a 3-pointer. But certainly there's better guys to stream. Galloway, I know someone you've had in the past, had a nice day today, but it's just few and far between. So nothing really here on the Pistons side either. I guess Reggie Jackson, maybe I should trust him over Dunn. That's my that's kind of crazy, but it might be coming to that. So anyway, any thoughts on the Pistons?
Not much for me to add on the Pistons. As usual, the main guys do their thing, and the other guys are just not worth trusting. So I'm going to move over to the next game up. Next one I got up is the Pacers and the Sixers. Another blowout, and the Sixers getting the victory here, 106-89. I'm going to take a look at the Indiana side, though, and I'm going to start with Bogdanović, man. I can't remember ever saying that this guy had a bad scoring game. Actually, this one, the shooting wasn't super great. It was only 6 of 16, but still gave you 18 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 3, and he was 5 of 8 from the line. This one, though, a little disappointing from some of the starters. Thad Young with 9 points, 3 assists, 9 rebounds, 3 of 10 shooting from the field. Wes Matthews, man, only 5 points in 39 minutes. He only had an assist, a steal, 4 rebounds. No threes, only 2-7 from the field. That's really disappointing. They just really got manhandled by the Sixers here. Darren Collison was okay. 14 points and a steal, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 3. He was 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 7 from the line. Miles Turner, this one was disappointing. 6 points, 5 rebounds. He did have 3 blocks to kind of salvage his line here, but only shot 2 of 7 from the field. Also, some major foul trouble. Had 5 fouls in just 19 minutes. So that likely contributed to his poor line. Sabonis returned. I was very happy to see him return. I actually moved him into my lineup. I was so excited. And, even though it was just a ho-hum line here, I'm still ecstatic that he's back. And he had 9 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 steal. Still a decent low-end line here. And not much else to add. Tyreek Evans is just abysmal this season. Victor Oladipo's gone for the year. Not much really to mention off the bench. Neil, what do you think of the Pacers?
Yeah, I'm just happy Sabonis is back. That's really – I was curious to see how many minutes he would play. He got 20 tonight. Might have been more if it was a closer game. So I think he's ready to go if you were holding him out. So glad to see him back in there and playing. And this Indiana team still has a lot to play for. The Sixers, Embiid came back. The big story over there, he had a monster game like he normally does when he's playing. 33 points, 12 rebounds, 11 of 21 shooting, 11 of 15 from the free throw line, and 2 steals. The one thing I like here is Tobias Harris held his value, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Good to see that with Butler and Simmons and Embiid all playing. Butler, kind of a quieter night. Just 12, 4, and 4. Simmons, nowhere near a triple-double tonight. 15 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, but solid line nonetheless, and a steal. JJ Redick, he may be the odd man out here. 9 points tonight, 1 rebound, 3 assists. I think all he's going to do is score and shoot threes with so many of these other guys out there now. Mike Scott plays 26 minutes off the bench. Not much to take away from this. I do think that, Embiid can hold his value with all 4 of these guys. I think Simmons will come down like half a round overall from where he was. Butler maybe as well, and then Tobias as well. But obviously at this point we can't trade in most leagues, so you're just kind of crossing your fingers for the best at this point. But I'm more curious about this team for reality-wise. I think it's going to be very interesting once they get to the playoffs. So hopefully Embiid stays healthy tonight, back for 28 minutes, so he looks like he's fully rested and ready to play.
Man, Joel Embiid, people who have Joel Embiid on the roster must be super excited to see this guy back, man. I mean, for him to just come back after missing time, put up 33 points with 12 rebounds, and that's just outstanding. And I have some friends who have him on their roster, and they reached out to me and said, thank goodness this guy's back, man, especially right before crunch time. So great to have him back. And then, Neil, as you said, man, with them at full strength, I think it's going to kind of be more of like a hot hand approach. Like one night, Jimmy Butler is going to be huge, and then we see kind of Tobias put up more of a lower end night, and then some nights Tobias has a big line. So even some nights, I think Redick's going to pop, and you just have to keep these starters locked up and hope that their average is still, a good average value that you end up getting. But and then, as you mentioned, Neil, reality wise, I'm really excited to see how this team pans out and what they can do in the postseason, because one of the best starting 5 in the NBA, one of the best, but it'll be real interesting to see, how their bench does and how they fare against some of these other teams. All right. Next game I got up, the Raptors and the Heat. The Raptors getting the victory 125-104. This one, another blowout, man. And I'm going to start on Toronto. Kyle Lowry came into this game probable, and man, you got to be really happy with his production. 24 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, 6 threes tonight. Did have 6 turnovers, but I ain't mad at him, man, because he shot 8 of 14 from the field, 2 of 3 from the line. Still a great game. Pascal Siakam, 20 points, 5 assists, 5 boards, a steal, a block, a 3, an efficient 8 of 12 from the field. He was 3 of 5 from the line. It's a good game from him. Neil, I pulled out the Magic 8-ball. I asked if I should play Danny Green tonight. The 8-ball said, yes, I did it, and it worked out for me, man. Let's hope the Magic 8-ball doesn't let me down next time. But it came through for me tonight. 15 points, a steal, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 threes, 5 of 9. I mean, you get a game like this from Danny Green, you are pretty happy with this production. McCaw got the start, 10 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. Serge Ibaka starting over Marc Gasol. He had 10 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 blocks. I should note a rest day for Kawhi Leonard. So that was why we saw Pat McCaw get the start here. Marc Gasol, not great off the bench, man. 6 points, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. This is what you were kind of scared of with, this whole situation of sometimes they go Ibaka, sometimes they go Gasol. Really tough situation if you own Marc Gasol, because you can't drop him. I think if you're in a situation where you can pick and choose when you play him, like when it's a rotisserie league, I think if he starts, you got to make sure he's in your lineup. Maybe if he's coming off the bench, maybe go with another option if you have another guy at center. Like I'd probably roll with Robin Lopez over Gasol if I know that Gasol is going to come off the bench and only play 20 minutes. And I know Robin Lopez has a good matchup and he's going to get over 30 minutes. So you got to kind of have to weigh that situation out. Neil, what do you think of the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, the big news is the center situation here. Like you said, we knew Kawhi was going to sit some games down the stretch, but trying to fill out the center situation. You're right. Gasol, I thought he would start every game and start to get more than 28 minutes a night. And it obviously tonight did not happen. 22 minutes, not a terrible line, but clearly a very big disappointment if you started him. Maybe you have to play it by ear. I still think they got Gasol for a reason. And I know it's going to be matchup dependent and maybe some rest dependent, but they're going to want to have Gasol playing with the big starters going down the stretch, including Danny Green. I'm glad the Magic 8-ball worked out. Yeah, these are the nights you have to start him, right? I mean, because he has like a few really great nights, and tonight's one of them. 5 3-pointers, 5 of 9 shooting, a lot of great stats. All right, Miami side. I picked up Olynyk. I have been starting him. I am a little disappointed tonight because of his shooting, but still, I'm not too upset. He was 0 for 8 shooting, but still put up 5 rebounds. He had 4 steals, which I really like, so good to see that. This team just got blown off the court, though. Josh Richardson struggled. 8 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Very quiet night, 1 steal. Bam was the big news here. Throwing down an old Emerald reference. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Hopefully, at least you're old enough to get that one. 8 of 11 shooting. 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 steals. He has been impressive. Dion Waiters, 25 minutes. Nice night tonight, but it's just shooting dependent. Tonight he shot well. Justin Winslow continues to fade. Just 10 points tonight, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 of 2 shooting, and a steal. Derek Jones Jr. plays 24 minutes off the bench, but doesn't really do anything fantasy-wise. Same with, Magruder has a better night, but not enough. Wade continues to play high usage and low minutes here. 15 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. So you can stream him, especially in points league down the stretch. Whiteside, this is the other center situation. 18 minutes tonight, 8-7. Yikes, not a single block. Good news is he did not kill you from the free throw line. I'm glad I don't own him right now. He'd be very frustrating to own. Let's see here. Olynyk, I still think is a hold. I think if it was a closer game, he would have got closer to 28 minutes, and I think he just had a bad night shooting. Toronto's a great perimeter defense. So what are your thoughts on the Heat?
Yeah, I agree with your take on Kelly Olynyk. I think it was just a bad night for him. In fact, oddly enough, he feels like one of the most safest guys on this team. And at the beginning of the season, I would have never have thought that I would say something like that. And, this team just like oozes disappointment, man. Josh Richardson has been disappointing. Now Whiteside, like Bam Adebayo's taken over Whiteside, and even Goran Dragic, who I thought was finally starting to come back. He, I don't know, maybe it was the blowout thing why, we saw some of these guys just not get good minutes, but also it feels it's really tough to rely on a lot of these guys. And so from a fantasy perspective, it's been really disappointing to have a lot of Miami Heat players. And Kelly Olynyk's the guy that, even though bad tonight, I still trust him. I still feel safe. He's going to be nice going forward. So we'll see how it pans out. All right, you guys, let's keep rolling. Let's keep moving along. The Orlando Magic and the Memphis Grizzlies. This one, finally, a closer game. The Grizzlies 105 over the Magic 97. This is actually good news for Laker fans because I think in the tankathon, we might be trying to catch the Grizzlies. So good to see them win a game here, you Laker fans. I'm going to jump in on the Orlando side, though. An interesting thing about this one was I think when I was watching this one, I was really surprised that Aaron Gordon got full complement minutes because I saw him take a minor knock and go to the bench. So he was in the locker room at halftime. So really happy that he came back, played a full 31 minutes here, had 13 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. Vucevic doing his thing, man. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block, 1 3, 10 of 24 shooting from the field, 5 of 6 from the line. Jonathan Isaac, this was okay. 10 points, 6 rebounds, and assists. A little disappointed he didn't have more defensive stats. Only 1 block, 1 3. The usage was real low. Only was 2 of 5 shooting in 33 minutes. Was 5 of 6 from the line. So that kind of saved his line here. DJ Augustine, a little underwhelming here. 6 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 threes on 2 of 10 shooting. Neil, maybe one of the reasons why Eric Ong is killing me tonight is I think I played Olynyk and I had Evan Fournier, who went 0 of 4 tonight for 14 minutes and put up 0 points, 1 steal, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. So those guys killed me tonight. But whatever, you got to keep rolling with Fournier. He should be okay in the next one. Terrence Ross. The Terrence Ross experiment was a somewhat success here tonight, Neil. 15 points. The defensive stats was nice. 2 steals, 2 blocks. You don't really expect that from him. But also 5 rebounds with 2 assists, 3 threes on 5 of 13 shooting from the field, 2 of 3 from the line. So if you rolled the dice on Terrence Ross, you likely were happy with the outcome here. Was pretty productive in multiple categories. Not much to talk about for the rest of these guys. What do you think of the Magic?
Well, tough night for you with Fournier and Olynyk. My God, that's it's brutal. I will say Isaac, I guess, is continuing to play solidly. I mean, not great, but not bad either. Well, I shouldn't even say solidly. It's just he's not like a complete dud anymore. So you're safe to roll him out there if you have him. I've given up on the Terrence Ross experiment, so I'm rolling with Olynyk and Powell in my rotisserie league. So those guys I trust a little more. But anyway, not much else here on the Magic. On the Grizzlies side, Conley dominating the line here. 26 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer and a steal. Avery Bradley, like we've talked about, he is shooting and he is delivering. 21 points tonight. He had 3 3-pointers. He also had 2 steals, just 3 rebounds, but did have 3 assists. So a very strong night for someone who has been so disappointing this year before coming to Memphis. Valanciunas, steady line here, but nothing spectacular. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 4 blocks. I messed up. I did not see those blocks. So that is actually a very good line. Drew Holiday, 6.7 rebounds. Not much to speak about. Did not even get a 3 tonight or a steal. Bruno Caboclo, 18 minutes, 2 points. I won't read the rest because it's not worth it. We talked about DeLon Wright off the bench, perhaps being someone who could be streamed. And tonight it's a pretty decent line here. He had a 3-pointer, had a steal, 3 of 3 from the line, 10 points overall, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So kind of a low-end starting line. I think he's going to be – we'll see if he sticks around Memphis next year. I think he could be a solid someone to target in your drafts towards the end of the draft next year. Noah plays 23 minutes before fouling out. Doesn't do too much. 10.6 rebounds, no defensive stats. My thoughts on the Grizzlies, DeLon Wright, low-end shooting guard stats if you need that. Bradley – kind of like mid to late round shooting guard stats. I love this guy now. Those 2 guys could be out there in your leagues, and I highly recommend taking a look at those 2 guys. Any thoughts on the Grizzlies?
Nothing, not much for me to add. Man, my fingers crossed we see JJJ back soon. I don't know. I mean, luckily where I have him, Neil, I've been able to put him in an IR spot. So, but I just, playoffs around the corner. I'd love to have this guy back for that. So that's all I got. You pretty much covered everything else. All right. Next game up is the New York Knicks and the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Wolves got the victory 103-92. Going to check in on the Knicks. Neil, my favorite team, the New York Knicks. Dotson, if you rolled the dice on Dotson, you must be pretty happy. 26 points, 2 steals, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 4 threes, 10 of 19 shooting. Neil, I'm going to ask you when this is over. I mean, he's been starting pretty consistently. He got 41 minutes, which is far and away more minutes than anyone else on this team. If he is somehow available, Neil, I'm going to ask you later if we got to pick this guy up. I don't know. Dennis Smith Jr., I did play him in quite a few spots, 13 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds on 6 of 15 shooting. Noah Vonleh, who had started to come on of late, this one was a little underwhelming. Low usage in 28 minutes, only took 4 shots, made 3 of them for 8 points, 1 block, 6 rebounds. Knox, this is a decent game from him. 13 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 5 rebounds, 1 3 on 5 of 11 shooting. DeAndre Jordan got the start, only put up 2 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. The center you really want is Mitchell Robinson. And the reason is, man, those blocks, 5 blocks tonight, Neil. What a great game from him. Even though he only put up 8 points, you love the 10 boards, and those blocks are outstanding. 4 of 5 shooting from the field. If he's going to get 30 minutes, I think you definitely got to keep him locked up. Alonzo Trier, who's been putting up some low-end value. I don't think I would trust him in standard leagues, but 15 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds on 5-11 shooting. He was hot from deep, was 4 of 5 from 3-point range. So a beautiful game from him. In such low minutes. This is a decent line in such low minutes. Not much else to add here, Neil. What are your thoughts on the New York Knicks?
Yeah, I can't trust New York. Dotson had a fantastic line tonight, as you mentioned. And he's had a couple this season. Same with Trier, same with Dennis Smith, although he's a little more safe. I do think Smith Jr. is safe, as we talked about. Mitchell Robinson's safe, but that's really it. I think if I had to go with one flyer, it would be Kevin Knox, only because he's starting. And when a guy starts, we've seen Dotson in and out of the starting lineup. We've seen Trier in and out of the starting lineup. We know Knox is safely starting. It doesn't mean he can't get yanked after 21 minutes, but at least if you're going to take a flyer on anyone, it would be him. All right, for the Timberwolves, as we mentioned, Karl-Anthony Towns out tonight. Wiggins sat as well, so they're resting a couple players, which means it was a very interesting starting lineup here. Adrian, we got to talk about some of these guys. Bates Diop, 35 minutes, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 2 3-pointers. A great line for him. Dario Saric, just 21 minutes, even with the absence of the 2 stars. So this is really disappointing. He is way off my radar at this point. Taj Gibson, though, got to start at center, 30 minutes tonight, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block. Jeff Teague, double-doubles here, 20 points, 10 assists, 3 rebounds, has a steal, has a 3-pointer, has 2 blocks. Nice night, very nice night from Teague. Okogie in 26 minutes does not do much starting. So, Adrian, I ask you, if Towns is going to sit, let's just say, are you looking to pick up Gibson? I think he's the obvious pickup. I think we know when he used to start last year for the Timberwolves, he had he was fantasy worthwhile. We see someone you would consider picking up as like Towns insurance.
I'm not okay. If we found out that Cat was definitely going to miss time, like let's say they decide, hey, we're tanking, let's shut him down, then yes, I'd probably run to the wire to pick up Taj Gibson, because I think nights like tonight is the reason why. I mean, this is an outstanding line. But here's the thing, Neil. I am very, from what I'm hearing, Cat warmed up, and that him sitting was precautionary. So I would not be surprised if Cat just misses maybe another game. So I'm not crazy about the idea of picking up Taj, only because deep down inside, I do believe that Cat will be back very soon. If not the next game, I would expect him back the game after that. So, but yes, if we found out that Cat was getting shut down or was going to miss extended time, I think Taj is a must pick up. And if you want to just for the take that gamble that let's say you think that Cat could get shut down, you got something that you don't mind dropping for Taj, go ahead and make that move. And Bates Diop, this is a great game from him, Neil. I love the usage. He took 12 shots tonight and did a little bit of everything here with the 6 boards, the defensive stats. If we also found out that Wiggins was going to miss time, let's say they go full shut like tank mode, I think Bates Diop could be a decent ad as well. And Neil, I'm very disappointed in Dario Saric here with, as you said, the two guys, their two main starters missing. I had Saric, I think, in this league where I'm playing Eric Ong, thinking that thinking that he's going to have a big day today, and really disappointed that he has not stepped up after moving into the starting lineup. And now with these high usage guys not in his way, I thought he was going to have a monster game here, especially against a really bad New York Knicks defense. I was expecting Dario Saric to explode. So very disappointed with his performance here. Any closing thoughts here, Neil?
Yeah, I agree with you on Towns. I think he's okay. I think it's just if you're right. I think Gibson's someone to add if he gets shut down. That's the only case to add him.
All right, and we're still waiting for the return of Covington, man. I'm starting to believe it's not even going to happen anymore. So I just gotten my hopes up so much. It's easier for me now just to say it's not going to happen, so I don't get disappointed week after week. All right, let's roll to the next game: the Milwaukee Bucks and the San Antonio Spurs. This one surprised me, Neil. This game was close, and the Spurs edged out the Bucks 121-114. I'm going to check in on the Milwaukee side, though. I'm going to start with Giannis Antetokounmpo, 27 points, 6 assists, 13 rebounds, 10 of 18 shooting. He added a 3, 6 of 10 from the lines. Not super great, but still a pretty good line from him. Brook Lopez with a double-double, 11 points, 10 boards, a steal, a block. He gave you a 3. He shot a perfect 6 of 6 from the line, 2 of 6 from the field. Eric Bledsoe with 21 points, 6 assists, 2 boards, 2 threes on 9 of 13 shooting from the field. Middleton doing his thing, 15 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 steal. We know he's been a little underwhelming at times, so this is a decent game from him. 1 3 on 6 of 15 shooting from the field. Brogdon, this was a little underwhelming, only 5 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound on 2 of 10 shooting, so not a pretty game from Brogdon. Mirotic, just so disappointing to see him in this bench role, this limited bench role, only getting low 20-minute role, 10 points, 4 rebounds. This is a bummer. 2 threes tonight, but man, I miss what he was doing when he was in New Orleans. Neil, what do you think of the Bucks?
Yeah, I'm not too surprised by this result. San Antonio is such a good home team, but Milwaukee, I'm starting to really believe in them. So I thought they would come down here and win. So I'm a little surprised, but not shocked. I should say on this result. Gasol playing 15 minutes. That was kind of interesting, but did not do anything and fantasy-wise. But like you said, Mirotic, that's the really just tough one to take. 22 minutes. I thought he would put up. I thought he played more like 28 minutes, and did not. It's not looking like that's going to be consistent coming off the bench. So really have to downgrade him now to maybe like 100, maybe outside the top 100 even going forward. We'll see. On the Spurs side, they've got, let's see, Derek White started at point guard. Did not have that great of a game, though. 7 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. They actually, weren't they miss? Oh, no, DeRozan and Aldridge did play. I'm sorry. My eyes were confusing me there for a second. Aldridge had the bigger night, 29 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 14 and 26 on the field, 2 steals, 2 blocks, a 3-pointer. DeRozan, 28 points, matched him there. 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 2 steals and a block. So those guys are continuing just to hum along. Portal, starting at center now, 27 minutes. He went 4-4, though, so 8 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, very efficient. Not much else. I'm not sure it's worth picking up, but you could definitely do worse. Bryn Forbes, someone I've been streaming, 12 points, 6 rebounds tonight, 5 of 8 shooting. Good to see that. 2 3-pointers in my deeper league. I think I'm going to let him go for this week, but this past week I was streaming him. Bellinelli plays 30 minutes and delivers off the bench. Same with Patty Mills, 23 minutes. It's Derek White. It's really Derek White and then the big two, DeRozan and Aldridge. And That's the only guys I'm trusting here. Rudy Gay did not play tonight, unfortunately. It's another one that hurt me in my leagues. But I think it is – I don't think it's serious. I don't know if you see anything on Adrian. Let me try to look that up. But if you have something on that, that'd be helpful. That's all I've got on the Spurs. Any thoughts on them?
No, yeah, I agree with you. Derek White, even though he had a poor game today, still feels pretty safe. It's him and those other two guys. Rudy Gay, I'm hearing had an illness, so definitely I would not expect him to miss any time, or definitely nothing serious. In fact, hopefully we see him back in the next game. I was really curious to see what Jakob Poeltl would do. I still actually am holding him in some deep leagues where I've just been waiting for something to pick up. And such a low end line. It only took 4 shots in 27 minutes. So I feel pretty safe moving on for him. In fact, I don't know, maybe I'll pick up Taj Gibson or one of these guys that we talked about in some of these other games. So, that's about all I got for the Spurs. And, I think I missed an earlier game. I think I missed the Pelicans and the Hawks that I should have probably went to earlier. So I'm going to go back to that game before we get in this last one. So the Hawks get the victory, 128-116. And I'm going to look in on the Pelicans side, though. I'm going to start with Julius Randle, who I feel is going to be safe. I think I said Drew Holiday was safe, and I jinxed him. So hopefully I'm not jinxing Julius Randle here. 23 points, a steal, a block, an assist with 3 rebounds. He had 4 threes. He shot 8-18 from the field, a perfect 3 from the line. Neil, when Holiday went down, or it was said that he would miss at least 7 to 10 days or something, you and I talked that the guy to watch or take a speculative flyer on was Frank Jackson. And this is why tonight. 23 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. The usage, man, took 18 shots, made 10 of them from the field, 3 of 7 from downtown. I might pick this guy up in some deep leagues. It is possible we see Drew Holiday back next week, but it's also possible that he gets evaluated and they say, hey, he's still not looking right. Let's shut him down for an exterior period of time. So I think Frank Jackson is an intriguing flyer guy to take an add-on. Elfrid Payton triple-doubled here, 15 points, 10 assists with 10 boards, a steal, a block, 1 3, shot 6 of 12 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. So a great game from Payton. Williams, only 9 points in 30 minutes. He shot 3 of 11 from the field. I don't really trust him. Anthony Davis, only 20 minutes. We know that's going to be his role, but can still provide some value. 15 points, 4 assists, a steal, 4 blocks. Love to see those defensive stats. 8 rebounds, 3 threes. So, even in a limited role, I think you still got to stick with Anthony Davis. I feel like this is kind of his floor in just 20 minutes, and that's still worth having on your team. I don't trust any of these bench guys. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Pelicans?
Yeah, we talked about Frank Jackson. It looks like he is going to get the minutes. So this is also against an Atlanta team, which is known for their defense. So may not shoot this well night in, night out, but it looks like he has the green light to shoot. So he's got potential there. Less excited about Kenrich Williams in this opportunity. Didn't do much. Seems to be just kind of hanging out on the wing and bombing away and not doing much else. And tonight it wasn't falling. Peyton, we know, is he's I wouldn't say a veteran by any stretch of the means, but he's been in the league for like 4 years now. So he knows what he's doing out there. It's nice to see him being able to distribute this well with not that much talent around him, and a very limited Davis. So 10 assists is pretty impressive, I think, here. And then Darius Miller, he's someone who I'm going to take a flyer on. He might be, I think I'd rather have him than Kenrich Williams. Comes off the bench, 29 minutes. His stat set isn't great, but tonight, 3 3-pointers, 7 assists. So he's got something, 10 points, 3 rebounds. So this is a 14-team league, so it's a deeper league. And that would not do that in a 12-team league. And it's also maximum. You can play as many games as you want, so there's no downside. All right, on the Atlanta side, let's go back to Trae Young here. He kind of tough night shooting for Mr. Young. 2 of 14 from the field, just 10 points tonight. Did have 10 assists and 5 rebounds. Kevin Huerter, we had talked about him earlier, kind of soured on him tonight. He kind of had a breakout party here. 27 points on 11 of 18 shooting, 4 3-pointers, a steal, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. This is what I was hoping for, something like this. Obviously not 27 points every night, but something like 17 points in the rest of these stat lines. Alex Len gets a start for the injured Dwayne Dedman, I believe. No, Dedman came off the bench. I'm sorry, for the injured. I'm not sure who's injured. Anyway, Alex Len is starting at center, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 8 of 16 shooting, and a block. John Collins does John Collins things, 23 points, 10 rebounds. 2 3-pointers. Torian Prince, solid line here, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and a 3-pointer. Bazemore off the bench delivers. Can't trust him, though. I wish I could. I think he could see this 22 minutes he may not see much more than this, except for very occasionally, so I'm not trusting him. Bembry down to 13 minutes tonight. He's someone who can be dropped. I mean, really, if you're going to roll a dice on anyone here for Atlanta that isn't owned, I would be Huerter if he's out there. If you need threes, points, and then maybe Prince if he's been dropped. Alex Len, I'm not sure if they decide just to go for him over Dedman, and Spellman was out tonight. I'm not sure if this is a permanent change or not, so I apologize for that. You have any thoughts on the Hawks?
I dropped Huerter in a bunch of leagues, and I'm starting to regret it a little bit after tonight. Neil looked good, and I could really use some points and threes in a couple of my leagues where I dropped them. So I'm starting to regret that move a little bit. Neil, I think I may have forgotten another game. Did we talk about the Rockets and the Mavericks?
I think we missed that as well. Yeah.
I'm out of it today, man.
No, you kind of helped me out by making it a short night. I thought we could just skip over some.
Rockets and the Mavericks. I missed another one. Let's go back to this one. Wow, this one was super tight, man. The Rockets getting the victory, 94-93. I'm going to take a look at the Houston side, and I'll start with Clint Capella, who doubled 17 points with 12 boards, and assists, a steal, a block, 6 of 9 shooting from the field, 5 of 8 from the line. James Harden, man, didn't hit that 30-point threshold tonight, but 20 points, a block, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. This feels a little disappointing. Oh, shot 3 of 15 from downtown. So having some trouble from 3-point range, but also 7 of 25 from the field in total. That's going to hurt your field goal percentage a little bit. 3 of 3 from the line. Chris Paul, 9 points, 9 assists. I love the defensive stats. 2 steals, 2 blocks, 3 rebounds, 2 threes on 2 of 11 shooting from the field. Eric Gordon had a spectacular game, 26 points, 3 rebounds. He had 5 threes, shot 10 of 20 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line. Tucker doing his thing, which is low-end value, 9 points, 7 rebounds. Just such a low-usage guy, man. In 38 minutes, takes 4 shots. It's just like, man, just not really a part of that offense. He just gets all the garbage, like all of the scraps. Not much to talk about on the bench. Fareed is out, and hopefully you've moved on from Fareed. I don't trust any of these other guys off the bench. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Rockets?
Yeah, if I was going to trust anyone on the wing that might be available, it's Gordon. Only because he's done it before and he can get hot. He can have some really cold stretches too, so you got to really watch his field goal percentage. But he's the one if I had to trust between Tucker and Rivers and Green and anyone else who might jump in there. It's just Gordon and no one else besides their big 3. All right, Dallas side, my man, Dwight Powell. Kind of a quiet night tonight, just 6 shots, and he only got 26 minutes. I was surprised by this, but it did okay. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, block, a 3-pointer. Tim Hardaway has really just dropped off the radar. Struggling in New York, struggling now in Dallas here. 9 points tonight, 3 of 11 shooting. 3 3-pointers and a steal. Not much else to speak of. Dorian Finney-Smith cannot get anything going. The one storyline here is Jalen Brunson. He's been consistently decent. Tonight he had a really good game. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. 5 of 5 from the line, a 3-pointer. I think I might drive Chris Dunn for Brunson. That's where I think I'm going with this one. I think he's safer at this point. Doncic, of course, he's the main guy here now in Dallas. 19 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists. He struggles on the field, 5 of 16, but he still goes 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Adrian, I drafted him and traded him. I mean, I'm going to do okay in my league, so it's not going to hurt me from my performance-wise. Looks like unless I really do something stupid, I'm going to win it. But, man, I just wanted to have Doncic on my team. You know when you draft someone and it just works out and you just feel like you know what you're doing once in a while. It just feels so good. It feels good. Anyway.
It feels great. It feels great when you hit on a guy like people who drafted Pascal Siakam or like Paul George this year. Like those people are so like when you draft a guy and they just kill their value and they just exceed any expectation you have. It just feels so good. But I'm curious, man. For next season, where do you think Luka Doncic is going to go next season? Where do you think his average draft position is going to be? Do you think he can get as high as round 2, or is that too high? Is he more of a round 3 or 4 guy for next season?
I think his percentages are not great. That's what holds him back. He's kind of he's got that Ben Simmons. He does shoot the 3, unlike Simmons. But I think he's going to get overvalued because of his counting stats. I think he's more like a 3rd-round player next year, but I think he'll get drafted like a 2nd-round player.
I agree. I agree. And Neil Brunson, man, can I tell you, in my home league, I picked him up a few weeks back. I've been meaning to drop him, and he's been on my roster only because I haven't found anyone to pick up. Now I don't want to drop him anymore, man. So Brunson, my fingers are crossed that I got to watch some of this game. He looks like a legitimate point guard in this league. He's got a toughness to him that I love from a reality standpoint. I don't know if that's going to translate to fantasy. Tonight it definitely did, but man, he's a tough little guy, and I hope that he succeeds in this league. I think he can be a starting point guard in this league one day. I think he's kind of more starting here right now because the Mavericks are tanking, but I think he needs to be picked up. I love your take on, maybe dropping a guy like Dunn for him. So love your take on Brunson, man. Okay, I think we got one more game. Is that what you're seeing? I've been so off tonight that I want to double check with you, Neil, that I'm not missing any other games here.
No, I think we got all the pro games. There's one more that just ended. It's another surprise result here in the NBA. Why don't you start us off?
Wow, I was not expecting this. I was looking in on this briefly. I knew it was close. The last time I looked at this game, the Warriors were up. So what a surprise. The Suns getting the victory 115-111. Wow. I'm going to check in on the Suns. Man, the Suns have been playing decent ball lately. I don't know if they knew that they were in the running for Zion. So somebody needs to let them know what's up. But anyways, I got to start with Devin Booker. 37 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 threes. A good game from him. 13 of 23. Perfect 9 of 9 from the line. If I had one gripe, 5 turnovers, but you still can't be mad at him. Still a pretty good line. Kelly Oubre Jr., he feels as safe as it comes now, man. I can't remember the last time we did a box score game and he had a bad game. 22 points. 1 steal, 1 block, 5 rebounds, 4 of 5 from downtown, 9 of 14 from the field. A great game from him. DeAndre Ayton has been playing well lately. 18 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, a block, 9 of 19 from the field. Bender got the start, but he only played 15 minutes and got 2 points, so don't trust him. The bench was ugly tonight, man. I don't really trust any of these bench guys. Jackson, only 7 points in 21 minutes. He's been disappointed. Bridges, we moved on from him weeks ago. Only 10 points in 27 minutes. Neil, any other thoughts on the Suns?
I moved on from Bridges last night. That's how long I've been holding on to him. The powers that be are Bridges fans, and I sometimes defer my own thinking to people that know more than me, but this one is just not working out. So I finally moved on from him. He does get the 3 steals and the 2 3-pointers, so helps me there. But I just don't trust it. It's just like if he doesn't get he doesn't get a couple steals tonight, it's really just not a good line. And he's had a couple of those. Those happen like every other game. So I just overall, it's not terrible, but I can't. I'd rather have someone who's a little more consistent. So I moved on from him. Plus, his playoff weeks are just 3-3-3 the next 3 weeks, so he's not playing that many games. Like you said, I guess teams want to play and win, so you can't blame them for going out there and trying. So great win for them on the road here to beat Golden State. Not much else to take away though from the stat line. Tyler Johnson, another one he's a contender for me to pick up instead of having Chris Dunn, although his shooting is can sometimes be off. All right, Golden State side, they had their big 5 starting tonight, and I guess they're having chemistry issues. They all played almost 36 minutes for Thompson. He got the high water mark. Curry got 35 minutes. Durant goes for 30. Draymond Green 32, and Cousins 28. So they were definitely trying out there. Unfortunately, they fall. Let's see who had a good line. Thompson led scoring with 28 points tonight. Took 22 shots, led the shot taking, made 10 of them, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Let's see. He also had 4 steals and a block and 4 3-pointers. So he had a phenomenal line. Steph Curry, 18.7 rebounds, 7 assists. He off tonight shooting just 6 of 20, 4 of 15 from 3-point land, 3 steals and a block. So not a terrible line, but not one of those monster Steph lines we're kind of used to. DeMarcus Cousins had a line that I kind of thought he might have coming back, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. So good, but not great. Kevin Durant, 25 points. Solid line from him. A couple steals, couple rebounds, 3 assists. Draymond Green, he's hanging in there, 6 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. I was really worried about his rebounds with Cousins in there. I feel like Cousins would box out his own player to get a rebound sometimes. And he's letting Draymond get a few. He got 11 tonight, 8 assists. So good to see Draymond still very active in the offense and picking up those rebounds with all of them playing big minutes. Not much else here. We know none of their guys off the bench have ever really been fantasy worthy, and clearly that hasn't started tonight. I know the Warriors. I know the Warriors are going to get it together by the playoff time, and it's just like you said, not expecting anything. Like I look at this game and think it doesn't even move the needle on my expectations for Warriors. They are still so good, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened in the playoffs in terms of reality. Any thoughts from you? Yeah,
I agree. This is a team that can just flip the switch, and they played together so much. They've got so much talent on this team, so I'm not worried about them. But one interesting thing, Kevin Durant actually left this game with a right ankle contusion, or I've read in some spots are calling it bruising to his right ankle. He did walk off on his own. And the Warriors, interesting, they don't play, I think, till Wednesday. I think they only have 2 games this upcoming week. So he's going to get rest. So if you have Durant, don't freak out. I think him not returning to this game, likely a precaution. I think, they just playing it safe. They know what really counts as the postseason. So they're not going to risk him on this meaningless game against the Suns. So I think Durant will be fine. And that's all I got, Neil. The Warriors, just like a lot of teams, we know who the guys are. They don't really have a lot of fringy guys that we wonder, it's just the main studs are the guys that we count on. Neil, any closing thoughts on the evening? I believe that was the last game. What do you think of this upcoming week? How are you doing, man?
Warriors have 2 games. A lot of teams have the Warriors only have 2 games this week? Yeah,
I believe they only have 2.
You're right. Then they go for 5 next week. It's crazy. So 2 this week, 5 next week for fantasy playoffs implications. Both mine start this week. I'm gonna try to navigate my way through. I think I get a bye in one, and I think the other one every team plays. So it's kind of sad. I kind of wish they should always have byes for the top teams. That's anyway. I'm just now complaining about bad things. So just fantasy playoffs, and we shall see. We may have some guest appearances on the show.
Whew,
And you're gonna be closing the show. I don't know if you remember you agreed to this yesterday. So I've got other things to do in the morning, so I've got to go to bed earlier. So you're gonna be taking over some of these night shifts.
All right, man. I'm excited, and good luck to you this week, Neil. I know very exciting stuff happening. So, and you guys, good luck to you guys in your leagues. As Neil said, we're getting playoffs are here. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of the season. It's crunch time, you guys. So I hope everything is going your way. Thank you guys so much for listening and for supporting the show. Hit us up on Twitter. He's at Ball with Neil. I'm at Adrian Benjamins. It's going to be a great week, you guys. So I'm very excited. Thank you so much.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.